because we have to start with our city lawyer. Attorney. He's going to read out a closed session, please.
I'm sorry, Mayor, I couldn't hear you. Did you say closed session report?
Going to read out a closed session.
Be happy to do that. We had two items on our closed session during the study session part. The first was a conference with the real property negotiators. You did give direction on that item. There was no other reportable action on that. You also had an item that was added as a item of subsequent need. That was a matter of existing litigation. You heard a report from the city attorney, gave the city attorney direction. There was no other report on that item, or no other reportable action on that item, and that concludes our closed session agenda for the day.
Thank you very much. So that brings us to the regular meeting, 5:30, call to order for the September 10th, 2025 regular city council meeting. We're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance, but once you're standing for that, will you please remain standing for then the invocation?
Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
As we come together today, we pause to recognize a leader whose presence has been a cornerstone of this organization. With vision, integrity, resilience, and a steady commitment to others, he has guided, mentored, and inspired. His leadership has not only helped us navigate challenges and reach milestones, it has also cultivated a culture of trust, respect, and excellence. From the strongest vine springs the most robust new growth, and it's clear that the work, wisdom, and values left behind will continue to grow and shape our future. With gratitude for the path that has been paved and optimism for the journey ahead, let us begin. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we have a special recognition for our city manager.
Roll call.
And, oh, I'm sorry, I missed our roll call. That'd be that. I'm already standing, so you know
That's
I'm
okay.
here.
Councilmember Carnavale,
Here.
Councilmember Lamb, Councilmember Gutierrez,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Gregory, Mayor Ross.
Well, I'm certainly kicking it off. We've got a lot of people that want to address the city manager in his 11 years here for the city of Cathedral City. And as staff, we wanted to put together a video tribute. So we came up with the concept of one word to describe Charlie McClendon. And it was really great to see all the answers there. And also we had some executive level staff and people who've been with him a little bit longer, tenured too, to give some more personal anecdotes. So without further ado, I'll cue up the video, and hopefully this is a tribute worthy of Mr. McClendon. So.
Give me one word to describe Charlie.
One word to describe Charlie McClendon. I'd say class. Professionally, personally, across the board, just the highest character. I'd say class.
He's inspiring.
I would say charismatic, and he's very easy to talk to.
Inspirational. Love it that he comes around and greets everybody every morning. Friendly.
Welcoming.
Personable.
Competent.
Classy.
Welcoming.
Fair.
Class. Professional.
Transformational. Seeing Charlie and all the impacts he's done over the years, that's the word that describes Charlie.
Energetic.
Positive. Charlie's always smiling.
Diplomatic.
Approachable. Thoughtful.
Iconic.
Colorful.
Fashionable.
Stylish. Dapper.
Dapper.
Charlie is a snappy dresser.
Charlie is rocking a killer haircut.
Understood. And I say that because Charlie has a real quiet conviction in his leadership. He doesn't take the spotlight, but I do have a second word for Charlie, and that's people. Charlie is the only city manager I've ever worked with that comes and says good morning to each employee, and not just good morning by name. So you can imagine how many employees are here at City Hall, and he knows all our names, and he says good morning.
Charlie has impacted me personally. I have noticed throughout the years that every morning he comes down to City Hall and greets all his employees personally by name. So a man that is able to memorize everyone's name and always comes in with a smile, goes around each and to everyone's cubicle, says a lot to me about him. He's a great guy. And his sense of style, he's also very fashionable, and I appreciate that also. But for the public, I want to say that when he first came on board, he made changes to the operating hours at City Hall to accommodate the residents and business professionals. So they were able to come in and do business with the city. So professionally, he wanted to meet the needs of the public.
Hello, Charlie. I'm Dave Fessel. I've been in the engineering department here off and on since 1984. I worked for 8 different city managers over those years. And I congratulate you on your retirement and for the fact that in all those years you've been here, I've never heard one bad word said about you. I think that's amazing.
When Charlie came on board, I was the president that asked me, and although we may not have agreed on all the issues, he was very compassionate and understanding, and it was clear how much he cared for his employees.
In fire administration, I'm so impressed with all the growth that has happened under his leadership. Cathedral City Fire has never been so dynamic, and that's something he should be really proud of. But above all else, I want to thank
Him for the greatest legacy of his tenure, and that would be to introduce me to the wonders of the espresso martini. That is definitely something that should be passed on in your legacy. Cheers to you, Charlie.
Charlie, first of all, I want to say thank you for your leadership. Your interactions with residents, staff, and city council have been truly inspiring and educational for me. I'll miss our Fridays, your fashionable outfits, and dressing up with you to represent city admin. And remember, when you retire, if you want to make a public comment, make sure you turn that in by 2 p.m.
Hi, Charlie. It has been a privilege and a pleasure working with you over the last 11 years. I will be forever grateful for you pulling me out of that lonely office in the hallway over to the other side. I will also miss our one-on-one meetings where we discussed city business first and then talked about the dogs and the kids after that. I appreciate your support both professionally and personally over the years, and I will truly miss you. I wish you all the best in your retirement. You deserve it.
Charlie, you've left a legacy with the city. You've created an exemplary model of leadership for all of us to follow. In your model of leadership, you've granted trust all of staff to do their best work and to rise and shine to the occasion. I appreciate everything that you've done for all of us. Thank you, Charlie.
Hey Charlie, it's Kevin. I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for the past 11 years. Here's an anecdote. When you came here, our fund balance was 17 million plus. You're leaving here, we're more than double. We're about 40 million. So you've been a strong leader, you've been a financial advocate, and we appreciate what you've done for us here at the city. And I'm sure that people here at the city also appreciate anything that you've done for them personally. Thank you.
Charlie's impact on me has been personal and unexpected. I'm chuckling at that. He came through his bold approach to professional attire. He truly pushes the boundaries with colorful shirts, bold socks, vibrant ties, and even distinctive shoes, hence the tie. Watching him confidently express himself through fashion gave me the confidence to explore edgier, more expressive styles on my own, including socks, shoes, ties that are definitely not your standard Brooks Brothers fare. With that, Charlie's impact on me professionally has been significant. He's given me the space to grow here at the city, encouraging me to make decisions, explore new opportunities, and develop my department without micromanagement. His leadership style naturally inspires a sense of ownership, builds a strong connection to community, and most importantly, helps me love what I do for the city, for the community, and for myself. Bye, Charlie. Love you.
Charlie gave me an opportunity. He gave me an opportunity to live my dream, which is to be a fire chief, right? And little did I know at that time really what it entailed. but total responsibility for the city. But again, he gave me a little kid's dream, right, which is to run a fire department. What he's done during that time, what I've seen, is really just a testament to what we all know Charlie and his 40 plus years in public service. You know, when he hired me, he had one goal, one mission: go out there and build the best department possible so we can serve the citizens with the highest level of service. He is literally the poster man for service and what it means to be a public servant to a community.
So with over almost 11 years of leadership here at Cathedral City, he has been at the helm of our city during some of its most transformative years. I think his legacy is going to live on well beyond him. Charlie has definitely set the stage for our future development, for our future growth, and I am honored to have had the opportunity these last almost 3 years to be able to serve as his assistant city manager. He's a compassionate leader. He cares about his team. He cares about this community. He has a very positive relationship with our city council, and he has outlasted every other city manager out here, and I think that's a testament to what a professional he is. Charlie, I want to just say thank you. Thank you for your leadership here. Thank you for your decades of services to other cities. Enjoy your well-deserved retirement, and we look forward to continuing to see you out around town and hopefully continue to keep us accountable to keep the progress moving forward.
I came out here to work for you in 2014. I came back to work for you in 2020, and I'm pretty confident I'm the only chief of police in your career as a city manager that you have sworn in 3 different times. We've been through the pandemic together. That led us into budget cuts, which you were able to manage. Then we went into civil unrest, and from there we moved on to a tropical storm in the desert. I thank you for your leadership and professionalism and the opportunity to work for you directly and for this community of Cathedral City. On a personal level, I enjoy our discussions about SEC football. Knowing you're a Tennessee fan and I'm an Auburn fan, I want to leave you with, we're damn eager.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's more on the, you have other speakers, right? Or is this the?
We'll do ours first.
Ours first, got it, yeah. Well, I wanted to give a huge shout out to Parker Gaunt from Code Compliance for helping me, Michelle Molina for helping with the scheduling, but we do love you, Charlie, and we're all proud to serve under your leadership, so thank you.
And you are an icon.
prosecco so people can eat some?
It's for you to take home.
Okay.
All those other folks.
All right. Well, I don't have much to say. That was really a beautiful video. And we probably don't have any fund balance left now after they had to pay all those people to say it. That's like that, but it's, it's been great. I came here not knowing how long I'd stay sort of to finish out my career here, and that was 11 and a half years ago now. And it's been great, and the things we've accomplished together, I will always remember. I don't do all that stuff they said, I don't do any of that stuff without leadership from the city council. My job is only to implement the policy decisions they make. They make the decisions. This council, the previous council, Shelley Kaplan is here from that. So, I do what the policy that they put into place, and I don't do any of that without all the department heads and the employees from every level in the organization, many of whom you saw in that video. I can say all I want to about what we need to do, but nothing gets done if they don't do what they're charged to do. And that's why I'm so confident leaving the organization. And I think you're going to appoint Ann as interim city manager tonight, and that's an excellent decision. She'll do a great job, and all the department heads know what to do, and all of their employees know what to do. And a few months from now, everybody will be going, Charlie, who? Really, because the organization will move right on. And actually, that is when you know you've been successful, is when the organization can move right on without you. So thank you so much. I won't belabor it. When I have a retirement party and we have a few cocktails, maybe I'll have an espresso martini with Sandy. But then we'll talk a little bit more. But thank you so much. I think everybody knows. This is my husband, Brian, who got me. Every Wednesday night when there was a council meeting, went and got pizza for us so that I'd have something to eat when I got home, no matter how late it was.
So I'm Vic I. This is Jeff Corbin. We run the Intercity Senior Center. And on behalf of our board of directors, our staff, our members, our volunteers, our donors, we are honored to present to you a lifetime Saguaro membership in our Saguaro Club for both you and Ryan. And Jeff will explain what
the Saguaros are our most distinguished supporters, and Charlie, no one has done more personally or professionally at the city over the past decade to advance the center. We're expecting you tomorrow. No, your leadership at City Hall and your friendship to us as a community partner has left a lasting legacy, and because of you, the center is stronger, and you and Brian will always have a home with us.
And the folks at El Paseo Jewelers have designed a special Saguaro pin, and we're going to give you a Brian both.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Charlie, I know you've 11 and a half years. We started a lot of things together. I concur with what the staff said about you, but as a business person in the city, 40 years, dealing with 8 city managers, you're the number one guy. You brought the staff into the community to do all the events, not just work for the city, but be involved. You're involved in every event. And I brought you a little something. That's 2015.
Yeah, the very first year.
Brian, come take a look at yourself. Yeah. Look at Mark Corner Valley, people. Let me also read you something.
You know, and it really means something with me, for Richard to say nice things about me, because he doesn't say anything just to be nice.
So that's for the presentations, but we do have individuals that would like to speak. So if it's okay, I'm not going to do the 3-minute rule for these, so we'll allow you to speak. So we'll have Alan Carvalho come up first.
Charlie McClendon. First of all, we all know how much the city had moved forward when you entered the family circle. And it was, I affectionately called 2014 Dream Team 2014, because you were brought in, Chris Parman was brought in. We had 3 very competent gay men on council with an incredible group of, and the entire council was extremely caring and loving. We had Mark Carnevale, Stan Henry, and so much was accomplished with your vision and your encouragement. And I remember you saying, coming here, how much of a dream it was to be on board with a council that was critical thinkers, willing to take chances, bringing 40 new restaurants into the area between 2014 and 2018, getting the amphitheater in line, getting the CV Rep to take over the IMAX theater. I mean, this is what councils do. You may not see what you're doing now, but it's the impression you're leaving for future generations. And you have left such an incredible impression. And the fact that you're not leaving our city, I actually don't remember you getting our permission to leave. I don't get that. I mean, when you get Chris Parman, you've got the phenomenal George Crum, who came in not once but twice, which is amazing. This is truly a legacy you should be proud of. So I want to say thank you from those of us that hadn't had the time to come up here and speak. And I feel so thrilled that we came to the city when we did, because there you are, and here we are. Thank you so much, Charlie.
Shelley Kaplan.
Charlie, this is all obviously about leadership and the wonderful leadership you provided. Charlie showed up at his interview for council. None of the council members are still here, the ones that were there yet. And he showed up in a very bright green suit. And he was described to me by someone from the council after the fact as a very large leprechaun. I think the council at the time hoped he was going to bring a pot of gold, and he didn't bring a pot of gold, but he did even more in terms of the success over the years. I look at 214 when I wound up on council. The city budget was a little over $30 million. It's now nearly $70 million a year. The staffing at the time had gone from 240, almost 240 staff, down to 160 because of the cuts from 2012, the economic downturn. The staff is almost back to 240 at this point. There were no businesses being developed in the city. And yet over the last 11 years, we probably have hundreds of new businesses in the city. The roads were falling apart. And we now have a tremendous pavement management program. We have money, actually, from the state and from others. And we're actually working our way through getting the roads in good shape. There was no housing under construction in 2014. This is when Charlie came in, and now look at what's going on in the city in terms of housing. We had no events. There was no event program going on. We had no recreational program for our kids. We had, downtown was all empty lots. Now we've got CV Rep, we've got the casino, we've got development on the 13.5 acres. All of that has happened under your watch, under your leadership, under your hiring of excellent staff people. We developed a strategic plan, which has been crucial. There are dozens of other changes that I could mention. The senior center just being up here, when I was on council, you helped me with the other council members get them a loan to actually keep their doors open. Without that loan, the senior center would not be in existence today. So I guess I just want to express my real heartfelt thanks. I really loved working with you. And you had to do all of those things while working for 5 different bosses. Something which is not always an easy thing to do. So I just want to say thanks.
So Mayor, I don't have any other speaker forms, but if there is anybody else here that would like to speak on this special presentation item, please feel free to raise your hand and come forward. And then if not, we will move on to the next item, which is public comments. So. Oh. Yeah, Mayor, we'll go ahead. We do have one individual that would like to provide just general public comment. So Danny Lee, you can come forward. Just please remember that you will have 3 minutes to speak.
And when you head back, you did drop something there.
Good evening, Council. Well, at risk of being Debbie Downer here, I actually wanted to speak about another issue, although I think, like everyone else, I appreciate the work of the city manager. What I wanted to talk about is something that's happening locally to my own home. I understand the Environmental Conservation Fund is being used to pay for numerous monument signs on roads leading off Landau. I've asked many residents, and none of them recall any information being sent out about the project. None of them understand why the signs are being added. Who will be helped by these signs? Certainly not the emergency services, certainly not visitors, delivery people, tradespeople, and residents already know where they live. So why was Landau Homes and Landau Manor given these subdivision signs? It makes no sense. The monument design is a large, irregular-shaped block of sandstone. It's not particularly attractive, but aesthetics aside, at least one of them now creates a traffic hazard, blocking the view for motorists trying to exit from Vega onto Landau. We're not just wasting money on signs that no one asked for. In that one instance, we're making life more difficult for residents. I've been unable to obtain a cost estimate from staff for these unnecessary signs, but whatever has been spent could probably have been used to much greater effect on other services in our community. Thank you.
I don't have any other requests to speak forms, but if there was anybody else here in the council chambers that would like to provide public comment on any item not on the agenda, now would be the time. And I don't see anything.
Will you please read the statement?
Oh, we just did public comments. No need to do that.
So we have council reports?
Okay. Well, I'm not going to say anything about what I've done. I'd rather just say a few words to Charlie that I put together, because a few things were mentioned about COVID and budget cuts and everything. But, we came on about the same time. And I remember I was down on Perez somewhere, and that's the first time I met you. And there was a bunch of angry people there. And I'm watching you, and you're handling them so great. And I thought, wow, this guy's all right, So I didn't know nothing about being a council member back then. I'm going to admit it, right? And I think the first time I did something really stupid, I had the city attorney call me in, and Charlie's going, "You really can't do this, man." I went, "Well, what did I do?" So Charlie and I got together. We talked things out. But working with this man all these years, and when Greg passed, I saw the true Charlie. He has ice waters running through his veins because this whole city was just like freaking out. And Charlie, you kept a very cool demeanor. You stayed focused. You kept the city going, and I was really impressed with that. That meant it really changed my whole thoughts of how you operate. I mean, there was a very emotional time. But you didn't show the emotion. You kept focused on the city, and it's very hard to do so. But I normally make notes and just read them and come out live. But I wrote this, and I'd rather read it because I want to make sure I'm speaking from the heart. And on myself and the community, I'd like to thank you for the many years of dedicated service as city manager of Cathedral City. Your leadership, professionalism, commitment to our residents have left a lasting mark on our city, and you really, really have. Through your guidance, Cathedral City has achieved significant progress, have you heard so many people said already, and get us through the challenges. And we've had, a few challenges, nothing really too critical, but we got through them, and assuring our community to continue to grow stronger, which you heard Alan Cavallo and Shelley talk about, the growth in the past 11 years that we've all accomplished here. And you've not only improved the quality of life for our citizens, but the foundation of the future of Cathedral City. Now that you're ready to retire, and I hope you don't get another job. Everybody retires and they go find another job doing something. We'll see you at Walmart or something, greeting or something. No, don't do that. I congratulate you on a milestone. May this next chapter in your life be pleasurable and enjoyable with your loved ones and family. And Charlie, from the bottom of my heart, it has just been so awesome working with you. And it's going to be weird looking over here and not seeing you there. I already have a problem looking over there. I don't see another bald head with the chief there. So the next city manager, we're going to make sure we got the same style. But Charlie, from the bottom of my heart, thank you very much. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember?
Well, thank you, Mayor. Boy, Charlie, when I first became a city council member, I had no idea what government was about. And you were there to actually guide me and to introduce me to what city government was. And you didn't teach me that. I learned from you how to treat other people. Little things that people say, for instance, when they talked about what was one word to describe them, that was very special. Because one of the first things that when I arrived as a council member, one of their number one complaints was a certain council member would go down there and didn't even acknowledge them or say hello. And as a matter of fact, you've been doing this all along. We as city council members had no idea about it. And the impact that you have made to every single employee, just a simple good morning, hello, has come a long ways. And it just shows the kind of person you are. One word that can describe you is being unique. You're just very special. And we as City Council are very, very happy to have you. And you are going to leave some big, big shoes to fill. And I'm very proud to have been a council member under your leadership. So thank you. And happy retirement. Enjoy the cake.
Councilmember Lamb?
I think about leadership and what it means. And, we've had lots and lots of examples of great things that you've done by saying hi to everybody in the morning. But to take an entire city to have an entire city on your shoulders, I just think is it's a crushing responsibility. And the first time I really understood and saw the way you interact with people was during the short-term vacation rental brouhaha, because it was tumultuous and it hit every member of the community, from kids in school to parents and whose neighborhoods were affected by it, and business community members and vacationers that were coming in and thought, oh, no, I can't get my house again. And everybody was invested. And the structure of it with town hall meetings at the library and in here, that was just structure. But the way you handled it, by having 5 residents and 5 business leaders and everybody getting their opportunity to share graciously and kindly, as you always do, it was really an unbelievable occurrence. I didn't know how it was going to unfold. I mean, we had our ideas, but you never really know how a big energized community is going to fall, on one side or the other. And I was just so impressed. And one of the things I learned years in management school, and they talked about if you don't have these 3 things as a leader, you're in big trouble, and the community that you're leading is in big trouble, because you're not really leading them. And it's character, and compassion and competence, and you have all those exponentially. And for me to see it and to be the beneficiary of it, my husband and I are longtime residents of the desert and 25-year residents of the city. So I benefit always. I benefit by learning how to be a part of a team, recognizing what the community needs and how to interact with them, and being a happy resident in a happy neighborhood, because we have happy leadership. So thank you so much for everything. And I think back on this, there's this wonderful quote at the end of this documentary. It was like on the Sudanese. I mean, I watched lots of crazy things. But they said, if you want to go fast, go alone. And if you want to go far, go together. Thank you for all you've done, and have fun.
Thank you. That was beautiful. Mayor Pro Tem.
So I'm employing the psychological tactic of just ignoring that Charlie is retiring, so I haven't begun to feel it yet. But my colleagues have said so much, and as they talk about things, it reminds me difficult it is to keep that balance that's necessary. And everybody talks about balance, but there's no way to mathematically spell it out, because it's just, you have to tactically maneuver, react to change, be patient, be fast. You have to know when to do all of those things. And Charlie has always been great at keeping that balance and doing it in a positive way. And as my colleagues have brought up, when you think back at even the short time that I've really been actively involved with the city, which is a subset of the time that Charlie has been here, there were things that were daunting. There were things that were impossible. And Charlie led us in a positive way to success in those items. And so many have been listed, but I can throw out things like Roadrunner Motors. I can throw out things like improving our parks, the dog park. I mean, when I came on council, that was impossible. There's just way too many. So I'm not even going to try, and I am going to recognize that this is not Charlie's last day. He's going to be with us, and I'm going to savor each day as I have, each day he has with us still. And I will say, coming on council is when I met Charlie, and I had some experience in government management before, and so as I've tried to be helpful with that, but I think I also have a critical eye with that. And Charlie, you're a true gem. And I don't know how we're going to be able to nearly replace you, but I am very pleased that you'll remain in our community and that hopefully as time unravels, you'll continue to enjoy the works that you did here in this community, and people will continue to recognize just how valuable your dedication has been. So thank you very much, Charlie, and we still have a few more days, so I will hopefully, with maybe a drink or two, have a chance to thank you again.
Well, they have said such nice things that I feel like I should probably say a bunch of nice things too. I did have something written. It started with, there once was a man from Nantucket, and that probably didn't go the right way, right? So I'm going to share with those that are here and with you probably what I thought was the most profound time we had together, and that was during Tropical Storm Hilary. Our people were in danger. Their homes were being lost. The roads were being washed away. We had trouble getting our fire engines places. It was all of the things you don't want to happen to your city, and they happened all at once. And that was a skillful maneuver to get us out of that. People were mad, and people were sad, and people felt lost, and none of them were good feelings. And you know, I think all of us who have been leaders, probably everybody in this room, we know the importance of when you are overseeing somebody, you need some happy times too. I mean, it's okay if there's things that are wrong, but then you kind of need to be able to regroup with something happy. There was no happy happening, and yet you just kept taking one step in front of the other. And I admired that, and I still admire that greatly. And you'll have difficult shoes to fill. And later I'll tell you what happens to that man from Nantucket. Thank you very much. Okay, that's all of us. So will you please, City Clerk, read the consent agenda items for us?
Yes. Thank you, Mayor. Item number, it's a long one.
Yes, I know.
Yes. So item number 4A is to waive full reading of ordinances on agenda. Item number 4B is to receive and file the commission or committee member attendance record. Item number 4C is to approve the August 13th, 2025 study session and regular city council meeting minutes. Item number 4D is to receive and file the check demand of August of 2025. Item number 4E is to approve the employment agreement with Ann Ambrose for the position as interim city manager. Item number 4F is to adopt a resolution designating holidays on which the city shall be closed to the public for calendar year 2026. Item number 4G is to adopt a resolution designating Mayor Nancy Ross as the voting delegate and Mayor Pro Tem Raymond Gregory as the alternate voting delegate to represent Cathedral City at the League of California Cities annual business meeting. Item number 4H is a resolution authorizing the city manager and the financial services director as the official designees for the Emergency Management Performance Grant, the EMPG, and State Homeland Security Grant Program, the SHSP. Item number 4I is to approve the city's Community Development Block Grant Fiscal Year 2024-2025 Consolidated Annual Performance Evaluation Report, also known as the CAPER, for submittal to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. Item number 4J is the amendment number 2 to the professional services agreement with Z&K Consultants, Inc. for the Highway Safety Improvement Program, Cycle 9A project traffic signal improvements at 12 intersections, and that's the capital improvement project number C08752. Item number 4K is an amendment number 1 to professional design services agreement with Verde Design Inc. for the Esperanza Park project, which is capital improvement project number C07021. Item number 4L is amendment number 1 to the professional services agreement with Kimley Horn and Associates Inc. for design of the Highway Safety Improvement Program which is the HSIP Cycle 11A project, 18 unsignalized intersection upgrades, which is the capital improvement project number C08754. Item number 4M is amendment number 1 to the professional services agreements with STC Traffic Inc. for design of the Highway Safety Improvement Program, Cycle 11B, 11C, and 11D projects. And those are the capital improvement projects number C08755, C08756, and C08757. Item number 4N is the service agreement for the RIAS improvements for the Cathedral Cove Center, PUD number 21-001. Item number 4O is a service agreement for RIA's improvements for the Grove Street Apartments, and that's DR number 23-001. Item number 4P is the purchase of one 2025 Ford Mustang Mach-E electric vehicle from Ken Grody Ford in Redlands for $45,829.74. Item number 4Q is the purchase of four 2025 Chevrolet Tahoe police pursuit vehicles for $396,402.12. Item number 4R is the purchase of a 2026 Chevy Blazer PPV EV from Jessup Motors for the police school resource officer. And item number 4S is a resolution accepting the California Highway Patrol California Traffic Safety Fund Grant Program award of $124,561.63. And that concludes the consent agenda.
Well, that was more than a mouthful. Thank you very much. Are there any members of the public who wish to comment on any item on that consent agenda?
So I have two comments to make for the record that were provided from Sunshine Herrera. One item is 4E, and she indicated that she is in support of the appointment of Ann Ambrose as the Assistant City Manager. And she also provided comments for the record in support, or for item 4G, and she indicated that her support of the appointments as recommended by staff. And both of these comments will be put into the record as our policy, and they are also available to council and the general public at the entrance of the chamber. And that is all that I have for this. I did not receive any other requests to speak for any of the items on the consent agenda. However, if there's any member of the public that would like to provide comments on any of the consent agenda items, please raise your hand. And I see no hands raised, Mayor.
Thank you. Do we have any comments from council, starting down at your end?
No comment.
No, I'll move approval of the consent agenda.
I'll second.
So we have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Gregory and a second by Councilmember Lamb.
Yes.
Please vote.
Live meeting or down. Oh, there it is. Thank you.
And the motion carries all ayes.
Next is public hearings, but I don't believe we have any public hearings, so lucky for us, we get to move on. Next is the legislative actions. It's the interview application for the Mobile Home Fair Practices Commission and considering making an appointment to fill a vacant seat. Mr. City Manager, will you please explain that interview process?
Thank you, Mayor. We do, this is one of the commissions that requires an interview before the entire, or an appointment made by the entire council. We do have an applicant who has expressed interest in being on the Mobile Home Fair Practices Commission. You have material related to his application, and what we will do, we don't have to worry about the order because there's only one person to do this time. So if Mr. Castillo will approach, and thank you for sitting here through all of the festivities tonight. Just come up to the podium there. The council members will do a round robin, ask you a few questions. You can explain your interest in the position and based on the questions that they ask you, and then they will consider your appointment. So, Mayor.
Thank you so much.
Hi, good evening. Thank you for having me here.
Can you tell us a little bit about why you'd like to be on this board?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, my name's Eric Castillo, and I just want to say it's an honor to be here, and congratulations to you on your retirement here. The biggest reason why I'm interested in participating on this committee is because I'm someone who strongly believes that the biggest issue facing our community, whether it's at the city level, the state level, or the national level, is one of housing unaffordability. And mobile homes and manufactured housing is one of the last forms of affordable housing that we have left in this country and in our city. And I think it's extremely important to make sure that we keep that housing affordable for the working class of our community to ensure that our city remains accessible to everyone. I think it's really important work. And a little bit of a personal backstory, the very first home I can ever remember living in was actually a manufactured home. And both my parents are immigrants to this country and were and are still farm laborers, and it was the only home that they could afford to put a roof over our heads. And I've had a very close family member of mine who was a victim of domestic violence, who was only able to escape her situation because she was able to move into a mobile home. So from a personal perspective, I think there's also a little bit of a personal tie there. So those are the reasons why I'm interested in participating on the Mobile Home Fair Practices Group.
Thank you, Council. Starting down at this end.
Well, we have our
I'm sorry?
we have our names in order.
Oh, I don't even have that. Can I just have it?
No, because I have to ask the
Please
question.
borrow it for just a second here.
You're
Get these
next.
names in order. I don't seem to have one. Well, I don't think it really matters. It's going to be, I don't know that it's in there. It's in there. All right. He's so smart. It's there. So the first person who's going to ask a question is me. There we go. And it's just thanking you for your interest in the Mobile Home Fair Practices Commission, and that you told a little about yourself. I just want to share something about myself before we move on. I live in a mobile home right now. My husband and I, when we decided to move down here, we just wanted a vacation home. So we bought one because it was reasonable and we could pay cash for it. And we've never left because we really like where we are and we like our neighbors. And so I hope that if you are appointed, you will find that kind of welcoming from the communities that you will be serving. So next will be Mayor Pro Tem Gregory, please.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for applying and for coming here and speaking to us today. So this is a little bit of a test. What do you understand to be the primary purpose and responsibilities of the Mobile Home Fair Practices Commission as established by ordinance? And how do you see you being able to fill your role in those responsibilities?
Yeah, the primary purpose, as far as my understanding goes about the committee, is to ensure that we are protecting mobile home residents from unconscionable rent increases, while at the same time ensuring that we are ensuring the right of mobile park owners to receive a just and reasonable return on the fair market value of their properties. And there are clear guidelines for what sort of responsibilities our committee has, and so just making sure to reference those and ensuring that I'm staying in line with what those outline our duties to be is what I would adhere to, and how I would plan to ensure that I'm serving the committee and the community in the matter that the ordinance envisions.
All right, so let me just ask a little follow-up. So what would happen that would cause the committee to actually meet and review an item?
One instance would be if a mobile park owner, for example, were to submit a rent hardship increase. So this would be a scenario where their operating expenses for their mobile park have increased to an amount that brings their level of profitability on their property below a certain threshold, and it would be our responsibility to meet on a case-by-case basis such as that to review the case.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Gutierrez.
Thank you, Mayor. And my question is, how would you approach a situation where the interest of the mobile home park owners and residents appear to be in direct conflict?
Yeah, I think the purpose of having this committee is because oftentimes the interests of those two parties tend to be at odds. And I think one of the most important characteristics of someone who should be in this position is one of empathy. Now is unfortunately a time where costs are rising for just about everybody, including the two parties that you mentioned. And so I think being able to have empathy and put yourself in the shoes of someone who is potentially encountering an unjust rent increase is something that we must do, but also putting ourselves in the position of a park owner who is suffering from the same environmental consequences that I think the rest of us are facing, and that is increased costs. And so for that park owner, the way that looks is in the increased cost of operating that park, and I think it's important for us to be empathetic to that as well and respect their right to receive a just and reasonable return on the fair market value of their property.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Lamb, please.
Hi, Eric, and thank you so much for your willingness to serve on this commission. My question is, the commission may hear disputes between mobile home park owners and residents. Can you describe a time when you helped resolve a conflict fairly, and how would you apply those skills here?
Yeah, I think it's a really important question. It's hard for me to think of an exact time or example of that, but something that I would share with you is that in my current role as a sales professional, it really is my job to work cross-functionally with a lot of different departments. And even though we are on one team, interests are not always aligned in every single way, shape, or form, and just ensuring that I have the communication with all parties and just really making sure that I'm someone who listens. And as someone who is a sales professional, I think the stereotype for us tends to be one that we are talkers, and that's not one that's untrue, but the mark of a really successful sales professional is, above all else, is one that listens. And I think when it comes to resolving conflict, listening and understanding is the piece that's most important. And one thing that I would also add is that conflict, although is oftentimes viewed negatively, it's actually a very positive thing, and there are such things as positive conflict that produce really important and productive outcomes. And some things that I think any member of a committee should do to ensure that conflict is positive or is achieving a positive outcome is ensure that we are, I think, one, assuming positive intent from each other, and then making sure that we are communicating with respect as well.
Great. Thank you, Eric.
Thank you.
So, you're up.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Hello, Eric. Commission members are expected to remain impartial. How would you ensure that your personal views or experiences do not unduly influence your decisions on the commission?
Yeah, that's it's a great question. I think especially because it's human nature to come into roles or any situation with a certain level of bias. I would not have come here and put my hat in the ring for this if it wasn't understanding the ultimate duty of the committee. And the duty of the committee is really to ensure that we are serving both parties here involved, whether it's the mobile home residents or the park owners. And again, just ensuring that I am taking the steps to put myself in the shoes of whichever party is there, just as I would expect that same level of empathy from anyone else who I encounter. And so just making sure that I'm adhering to the rules of the committee and just making sure that I am approaching both parties with empathy.
Thank you for that, Eric. I want to ask you one more question. You've answered these questions eloquently, and
Thank you.
I feel really good about you here. Would you be interested in the future if another position on planning or another commission or committee comes available? Would you be looking to do more than just this here? Because this here is going to take a lot of time, a lot of your time.
Yeah.
But would you be interested in moving up or moving aside?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm someone who I think long term would really love to serve my community in a greater way. And so, yeah, I'm absolutely open to other roles and other positions. This was the one where I kind of saw as one that the stars just kind of aligned. The opening was there. It's something that, I feel is an important cause. But my interests are definitely tend to be all over the place, maybe in a good way or a bad way. But I love to learn, and I think the opportunity to be a part of another committee or opening is absolutely something that I would
think
be
we got a
open
new
to.
family member here, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So, since we just have the one applicant, is there somebody here who would like to put him forward for this position?
I do. I move to approve him. I think he's a great candidate, and his answers were great.
Thank you.
You answer them really well, and I approve.
Yes, you seem quite prepared and thoughtful, and I have confidence that you could be fair and balanced, which is important in
Thank
these
you.
positions.
I appreciate it.
I'd second.
Second, all right. Then we have an option to vote, which is happening right now. You can't see it, we can. But you'll know the results in just a moment. Our lovely city clerk will let you know.
The motion carries all ayes.
Thank you.
Welcome. Welcome to the team.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, so our next item is the updated Cathedral City Emergency Operations Plan, the EOP. May we have a staff report, please, City Manager?
Thank you. This is a moment for us to have the emergency operations plan come forward. That's something that we've been working on for some time. Chief Contreras and other staff in the city worked to get grant funding to pay for this project, along with the local hazard mitigation plan, which I think is coming on your next agenda for approval. So without further comment, I will just introduce Chief Contreras, who will...
Thank you, Charlie. Honorable Mayor and Council, this is about 3 years in the making. I'm happy to announce that this is about the emergency operations plan, but yes, we were notified the last Thursday before we could get it on this week's agenda. Our local hazard mitigation plan has been approved by FEMA also, so at the next council meeting, I'll be bringing that forward for your approval also. Again, we've talked about...
It's okay you split it up because it's a lot to read.
We're going to talk about the EOP, so what the recommendation tonight is for you to adopt it so that it becomes the official document for the city, and it aligns with state and federal requirements to have emergency plan in place. If we go back to last year, November 13, 2024, the City Council awarded the contract to Jacob Green Associates. That's the main vendor that I've been working with. You awarded the contract for both the LHMP and the EOP. We've been doing these simultaneously in what I would say almost warp speed to be doing two documents. One's 500 pages and the other one's 300 and some pages. So we did get them completed with close to each other. Like Charlie said, it was not only myself but other city staff, and as it says, it was required by the municipal code. When you put these together, they did have to be approved or within the framework of Cal OES and FEMA. So we do need to follow some guidelines, and that's probably tied into two pieces, not only the document, but how do we exercise the document, and I'll talk about at the very end what we're going to do there. It does allow, part of the training and having a document like this is not to wait until the disaster comes, it's to exercise it. And that's what this will allow us to do, not only regionally, but by having oversight by state and federals, the terminology, all the things that we use that go into that document, they're all consistent. And anytime we are using Master Mutual Aid, which is the state system to bring resources in, or the county system, we need to use that plan to identify those. What we did, we added two different, what they call risk profiles, so two other things that we may have to deal with here. Again, lines with state and federal guidelines. I think probably the biggest thing is it brings it up to date, right? That was the one of the things I learned through this process is you really got to be careful of the rubber stamp, right? You just take this one, you change the date, and you move it over to this one. This was a comprehensive, from the ground up review of everything we did and how we do it. There's no fiscal impact. I do have the next slide that's going to show the breakdown, but it was all, this entire project was funded through grant funding. Adoption leverages the existing resources and strengths, and again, that's what we already do. It's tied to the 5-year strategic plan, safety, specifically action E4. So this is one we can finally check off of the strategic plan. Here's a breakdown in case you wanted to see it, of each of the documents. And here's the final year. Like I said, there's no fiscal impact off of our bottom line because it was all covered by grants. The request is the adoption ensures that Cathedral City remains prepared. The recommendation is the City Council adopt the updated emergency operations plan. And before I open for questions, one of the things that having both of these documents completed is the exercising part. So we do have two, actually, if you tie it together, three. There's going to be a review of Hurricane Hillary. So for a lot of the staff that has never been through this, before we just do the training, we're going to actually do a review, and here's what it actually looked like in Cathedral City as we were going through it. Then we will do the initial training of this is what ICS is, this is how, these are the seats, these are the vests, all the computers, just kind of the touch everything. And then that's 2 days of training. Then in the 28th and 29th, we will do that again because not everybody can make both trainings. And then we will finally do a 6-hour drill where we will have a simulated event that hits the city. Really going to stay away from flooding, be one of the other ones that's not so real to us who had to live through it. And then that will be the completion of the not only the grant, but the contractor's deliverables. So we're almost there, and I'll take any questions you have.
Question?
Yes, I do have a question. Thank you, Chief, for your presentation. My question is, as part of your preparedness program, does it include, for instance, if there's some sort of shooting in which there's multiple victims and you need to go in there and actually assist, whether it's 10 or 50, does this also consist of the emergency?
This project would not, but we will work with police. We have, I hate to say it, we train on it, MCI protocols, mass casualties. We have active shooter drills. I think we just had one a couple weeks ago, and we've got one I think we're looking in December. So that's unfortunately in this day and age, it's more ongoing training versus this specialized plan that we have.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Just one quick question. So do you review this yearly or bi-yearly to upgrade?
So the EOP is every 5 years.
So this will work for 5 years?
Correct.
But would it be necessary if something new comes up? I mean, there was COVID, there's obviously storms, we're ready for that, but
so
you don't find it necessary to redo in a couple of years or?
No, unless something crazy happened. I can tell you, we didn't have as much as we would have liked, but we did have some external stakeholders come in. We held an open house, and we listened to what everybody had to say. Obviously, those who live and work in Cathedral City, we're dealing with winds, we're dealing with flood, right?
Okay.
So those probably aren't going to change for this. What is required by OES and FEMA is that you do a review of it, right?
Okay.
And that the big part for that is to qualify for any federal assistance. If you do end up getting some disaster like we had, what allowed us to apply for those funds was having both a local hazard mitigation plan and an EOP. You have to have both.
Thank you, Chief.
You're welcome.
Councilmember, just to add on to the chief, so the local hazard mitigation plan will identify some of those kind of risks. So I'm sure we have pandemic in everyone's plans these days.
There's 15 in there, 15 that we say are specific to this
our area.
Gotcha.
And then this is how, under any of those situations, how we'll work together internally, how we work with our external organizations to address whatever that risk is and whatever that problem is.
Thank you. Thank you, Chief.
Mayor Pro Tem?
I was happy to see you weren't going to necessarily go section by section and summarize this
It's a big document.
And there's a lot in here, so that leads me to ask, though, and you spoke a little bit to this, but it was almost like we've got to do these three things and then we'll be done. And this loses its value if you're ever really done with it, because it's too late when the disaster occurs to say, oh, we have a plan, let's pull it out. I haven't really read it. not you necessarily, but others, because this involves everyone. So you spoke of some tabletop exercises, which is important. In my own experience, I was involved with different organizations under the umbrella of the law enforcement agency, and some of those were cities, and some, would periodically do their mock activation of their emergency operations center and have people come in, and it was very enlightening because people that had important jobs didn't even know what their jobs were. But the good part about that day was they would learn a little bit about what their job was, and then a year later or 9 months later, whenever it got activated, they might forget a lot of it, but it was happening, and people change too in an organization as far as, new hires and changing of positions. So is that the plan, is to continuously, not on a too much basis, this is one of those balance things, right? But enough that you would have people get some familiarity and put on their little vests, right? And get the forms that they're going to have. All those things are probably still part. I saw some of it referred to in here. Are you planning to actually do that, or wait till a disaster comes?
So this is something Charlie and I had talked about, right, when you're taking it, because I've actually activated, I think, 6 or 7 EOCs in my career. And you don't, exactly what you said, you want to wait until the time is there. So what my plan is, and if you guys remember, the council approved $25,000 this year, $25,000 next year. We got a $16,000 grant. So I don't know if it's going to be enough, but we are completely revamping the EOC. It will look different when we get done. We're upgrading it. And the goal with that will be, as long as I'm chief, we're going to be doing quarterlies. Because, again, we went through it. We had prepared. But it was for Hillary, it was because, we did, with the mayor at the time, we shot videos, we did sandbag, we did a lot of prep things that made it a lot easier. But who's going to do what and where, that's the part that it's just like working out. It's a muscle and you have to exercise it. So what my goal is that every quarter, we're putting a lot of effort and time in all department heads, making sure that we have multiple layers deep, that we don't just have the department head, but we have somewhere between 4 and 6 below. Right. So that's what we're doing. I would anticipate we will have 50 plus personnel throughout the city in different roles.
But they all will have had to have a chance to physically go do this ahead of time.
And that's why we're doing 2 trainings, right? We're going to do this one. If they don't understand it and they want to see it again, we'll do it again. We have 2 opportunities, and then my goal would be quarterly. We would do some activation. It may not be a full activation, but you call everybody, okay, everybody down, come to EOC, get in your position, maybe a 1 hour. Get in your position, get your materials, sit in your seat, get your computer turned on, and you're ready. We're going to give you a scenario in the next 5 minutes, right? Okay. Give everybody time to get there.
This is what's happened. What happens if the phones are out? Who's your communications? You're going to do this.
And we've got...
finance, what are you going to do?
Exactly. And then that might be the drill. It could be just get your stuff out. Let's talk about it. What would be your first 1 hour concerns, right? This first 1 hour, what's on your list? How would you do it, right? And again, my experience has been, you do a couple of those and people don't feel good about how it is. Guess what happens all of a sudden? You get that preparedness, right? It doesn't have to be these 8, everybody wants to do these big, it doesn't have to be 8 hours. It needs to be enough, and if you break that into chunks, you end up with every year, you're doing an actual full drill, because you do a couple hours here, a couple hours there. So that is the plan, and that is why we are completely revamping the EOC.
That sounds like a great plan. I know many agencies use the Great California Shakeout because, probably the most likely, is a big earthquake, and it will be big. So you would probably activate all of your sectors all the way down into some of the subsectors. So I know that sometimes that's a good one to at least get everybody familiar with their role and where they would go and what would you do if communications are disturbed and those kind of things.
And what if they can't get to work?
And what if
what do you do in that scenario, right?
And so where would you fill in if you end up having to do a couple of sections because the other people can't get here, that type of thing, or can't get here for some time?
Those would be kind of down the line, but like I said, if we can get everybody just to be comfortable to sit in the seat and wear, I mean, it sounds funny, but sit in the seat and wear the vest, and they're comfortable with that,
Right.
that'd be a huge win.
That would be a huge improvement, yes. Thank you so much. So I was surprised going through here. I never heard about the disaster council that apparently you have with the mayor and that. So that would be something that would be curious to
First I heard of it.
I was gonna say, you will be, I mean, because there is a governing, I mean, the city manager is the head of it, but in an earthquake where you're gonna be establishing some policies and stuff, how we're gonna operate. I mean, we've got 15 firefighters on duty. If there's an earthquake, which is why we do the CERT, right? We're making a big push on CERT, right? So, and then I would like to, at some point, we're going to bring the council down there, and the council can see what's going on, see how it operates. Because I think, the mostly fires and those type of things, what I've dealt with, but you get the council in there because you're going to get the questions. We're going to be too busy working it. You're going to get the questions, and they're going to come back at you.
Yeah, I think it's important for us to understand. So not necessarily we would be active in that portion in a disaster, but so that we can continue to support both the training and any equipment needs, those types of things. So there are some interesting things in here, like I didn't know that this would be worst case scenario, that if enough of the council perished and you couldn't constitute a working government, that each of us is supposed to have 3 pre-approved replacements on file with the clerk's office. Clerk, do you have the list of my replacements? Okay. So I think there are some follow-up things that we need to do, and a disaster council can also meet ahead of a disaster to recommend policies and ordinances and those kind of things. So I'm hoping you're making a list as you go through here and saying, yeah, there's some things we're supposed to have on file that nobody's ever heard of before, and we probably, if we either individually or have the disaster council meet and make some recommendations as to how that should be handled and how maybe some ordinances that need to be drawn up or resolutions or whatever needs to be drawn up ahead of time, so that we actually, they're not just words on the paper that somebody says, oh crap, we were supposed to have this on file before the disaster and the big rocks fell on 3 of the council and we only have 2 left. So, what are we going to do? The plan says, for at least for the immediate action, you're supposed to be able to, temporarily pull in these people, and I don't know how that works with the legal part of it, but I think that needs to be ironed out ahead of time. Not that we would hope that would ever happen, but
No, we have to, and the consultant, I can't believe I'm going to say this. Consultant already has 23 things that we need to do.
Okay.
Right? We're doing it in sections.
So there is a list
right?
of things. That was just, I'm sure there, as I say, I caught a few, especially things that referred to council, but I suspect that there were other things that you're going to be working through then in the next few months.
I would say that as much as I thought that this is 3 years, truly an LHMP and EOP, it's constantly being worked, being exercises, and I don't think it's any secret that there was parts of this that were rubber stamped. They took it from that previous version, they moved it to this version. And so that's why this needed to be a complete rewrite from the bottom up for a lot of those things. And I would imagine we're going to end up, which is, we were going to try to squeeze everything into this year. We just ran out of days because he got up to 23, and he believes that we will be, and it may be signatures on the cover page, right? There's some that won't be much. He thinks we'll have up to 50 action items. Once you approve it, it's submitted, then we're still going to have to do these things.
Okay. I'm glad to hear that, yes, that there's a plan, again, that it doesn't just say, oh, we got it submitted and approved and we're done, and then when we go to use it, we're either not familiar with it or there are some parts that if they should get called up that we didn't finish. So I'm glad to hear that you've got that on the list. So and some of those may require us to act, so we may see more on this plan again. So, all right, thank you so much for the answers and for your work on this and your continuing work on this. Thank you, Mayor.
When I was 13 years old, I was a candy striper at Emmanuel Hospital in Portland, Oregon. And the hospital decided it was going to do a plane hit the hospital. And how would you do that? I'm just a kid, right? So I'm just doing whatever I'm told. But we practiced on where would you put the dead bodies and then where would you put the live bodies and all of this, right? So I was part of the group that was ambulatory, and we could get ourselves out to this grassy area. And so I got out there and they marked my ankle as broken. And about 20 minutes later, somebody came by and marked me dead. So that was sort of the day I realized, we probably need to practice this more often. I don't think my ankle would ever kill me, kind of a thing. So I appreciate what it takes to make an emergency less urgent.
We're going to do our part.
Thank you, sir.
And I just had one.
You may.
And I just because I had a chance to review this ahead of time, obviously, but on page 30, because that's my thing, community preparedness. I really want to commend you for really formalizing the training that we give to our community members, whether it's at the library or, Agua Caliente Elementary School or St. Louis, because, it says here, having the go bag checklist and emergency preparedness sessions. I mean, the community really responds to that, and they feel better. How many of them, I haven't taken a survey, how many of them have actually taken the next step to prepare their household, but it's a first step. And so I thank you for that, because it's in English and Spanish, and we do it twice a year, and it's something that we can count on. Appreciate it.
Thank you. And again, I think the council, we're making a big push. As you know, Emergency Preparedness Month, you're going to see you see them on all our fire vehicles, say and it's got a QR code to scan right to sign up for CERT. We're also going to put them on the Sunbus shelters, just like we're going to try to use the same thing we did for the 4th of July, the big poster. They can QR code it and then go right and sign up. So we're making a big push, and we're trying to take the time from National Preparedness Month to, I think it's the first week of November, to the CERT. We're going to do everything we can, because at the end of the day, that's where people can really be self-sufficient. The CERT program and block teams and neighborhood CERT groups, that takes it from, okay, we're doing CPR over here, all the way through preparedness, to now we're self-sufficient. We can take care of our neighborhood or our mobile home park. We can do it all by ourselves, and that's where we're really going to put our effort to take this all the way through.
Thank you. So are there any other questions from the members before we move on? Are there any comments from the large group we have here?
I do not have any request to speak forms on this item, but if you're a member of the public and you wish to provide public comment, please raise your hand. I see no hand.
Thank you.
No hands raised.
Do we have a motion?
All right, I move to adopt the plan.
We have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Gregory and a second by Councilmember Lamb. Please vote. You can't see it, but the motion carries all ayes.
Thank you. So next we have item C, Council Chambers and Study Session Conference Room Audiovisual System Upgrade.
Well, we've even had a few examples tonight of the need for that. This is something we've been needing to do for some time. It's been 20 years since the original AV equipment was installed with here. So Jan de Guzman, our Chief Information Officer, is going to go over this with you. It will require vacating the chambers for a while, so we'll talk a little bit about the plan for that as well. Jan.
Thank you. Good evening, City Council. I'll do the presentation for Council Chambers and Study Session audio-video upgrade. The background was 2005, we did the full remodel, full upgrade of the audio-video for this system, so the meat and potatoes is about 20 years old. Ongoing issues, we just repair just bits and pieces. A couple years ago, we did the IT master plan eval. The vendor came over here and take a look and recommending a full upgrade of the AV system. June 12 is when we posted the RFP, and the goal is to ensure high quality audio and video for all attendees and participants and improve public access to government broadcast channel by utilizing the latest AV technology. So the funding, since this is related to public government access broadcasting or cable TV, so it's going to be funded by PEG funds. So for audio system, provide high quality sound for all areas, upgrade audio systems, that's the audio processors, that's the brains of the audio, speakers, microphones, LED equipped microphones for all the dais and lecterns, so you can mute it, unmute directly from the mic instead of your, it's not good right now when you do it from the computer. Wireless microphones will be replaced. We're going to have new assistive listening and translator devices. We're going to integrate this with the phone system, so we no longer, point the microphone to the phone. City clerk can dial somebody for conference calls. For video displays and signage, we're going to have 2 big 4K displays, high-quality displays, like big TV screens. So the facilities department, they're going to use the contractor to do a full remodel of these projector rooms, and this is where we're going to install the TVs. We're going to replace the broadcasting with high-quality 4K system for web streaming, video recording. We will replace the cameras with the 4K cameras. They're going to provide us with a backup hardware for video recording. We will have displays outside for overflows and replace the speakers. It doesn't really work well back there. We will have a wireless display device system. This is where we can display our iPhones, Android, tablets, mobile laptops wirelessly to the big TV screens, because this room is not just for meetings, it's being used for training as well and special meetings. Those plates will be replaced with electronic nameplates, so we can see it back there and we can see it better on a TV. Digital signage will be displayed outside the meeting rooms to show the meeting information. For system integration and control, full integration across all rooms and systems, there will be graphical user interface controls for controlling the audio, video, lighting, nameplates, and any related systems for broadcasting. Display video sources, there will be 2 system controls, one for back there and one for the city clerk, and a software-based speaker timer as a backup for the one meeting system. For conference rooms, there will be 2, the closed session conference room back there, and on the first floor, which is the study session conference room. The closed session conference room, they will be replacing the speakers, putting controls in there so we can control the audio. Study session room, they will be replacing the audio systems, the speakers, microphones, wireless, putting a larger TV screen, because the TV screen right now you can't really see at the back when there's a presentation. And that room is being used for special meetings and also training. And during special meetings, we need to broadcast it to local channels, Channel 17 or web streaming. So it needs to have an integration between the study session and the council chambers and enable remote conference room video capabilities. Study session room, this will be the temporary council meeting for council and commission meetings. Approximately 90 days to complete. Tentatively, we're thinking about the last week of October. Maybe it will go to the first week of November. That means the council chambers will be closed. So all the meetings will be at the study session room. What we're going to try to do is, before we close this down, we're going to try to upgrade the study session first. So that way, when you guys move downstairs, then we could, do the recording or broadcast it to channel 17, web streaming. If that doesn't work, our backup plan will be using our communications department to do the video recording. And for closed session, we're thinking about using the community development conference room. That could change, but that's it. It's just on the first floor. Bid proposals. The raters, we have 5 raters. We rated Western Audiovisual and Security. They met all these criterias, and they basically mirrored their response on the RFP. Fiscal impact. The total project cost is $329,932. This is the breakdown. For the contract is $281, and then you add the 10% for the unknown to cover the unknown. That's around $28,000. The projector room remodel is around $20,000. So the total is at $329. We adopted a budget for year 2025-26 for PEG fund, which is $175. So the budget amendment that is needed is $154,932 under PEG funds. 5-year strategic plan. This is part of D1 under Information Technology Master Plan initiatives. D4, leverage technology to increase and improve online services, improve access to public information. Staff recommendation, award a contract to the Western Audiovisual and Security in the amount of $281,757.05 for the council chambers and study session conference room audio visual system upgrade project. Approve a 10% contingency of $28,175 to address potential unforeseen conditions during the project. Authorize the expenditure of $20,000 for the construction of a projector wall remodel to be completed by the city's facilities division. Establish a total project cost of $329,932. And finally, authorize the city manager to execute all necessary documents. That's it. Any questions? Thank you.
Questions?
I got one quick, whatever. What type of support do we have with this? I know electronics.
Yes. So with the contract, we added the 2 years support.
So are they like 24/7? They come out and repair anything that?
I mean, based on the agreement, it's on business hours, but if it is after hours, there's like additional charge. But basically, when we call them, they will remote in.
Okay, all right, thank you, thank you.
And I have just a comment. I know nothing about this. It's all a miracle when it happens. So I have no questions. But my question was, for the Channel 17, the government access, and you may or may not know this, do we pay for that? Or is that a public service that they offer to the cities to run through a channel? I just thought of that. I mean, so how...
That's part of our franchise agreement that we get public access channel.
I see. Okay, thank you. Got it.
Councilmember?
And I do have a question. My question is regarding the audio translation. How does that work?
So if we have a Spanish speaker, for example, we have guests with Spanish speaking, and we need a translator. So basically, we need to get a consultant to come out here that can speak Spanish. They will be sitting over there, and then we're going to hand out some mobile listening devices.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem?
So from this side of the dais, all right, from this side of the dais, maybe I left it on too long or something. I don't know. Needs to be replaced. From this side of the dais, you mentioned the microphones will be different.
Yes.
And so we'll lose that, having to keep and find that little box with the turn your
because
mic.
that's really difficult for you guys. Sometimes when the software crashes, you can't really.
Well, if there's 3 or 4 things on the screen, often
Yeah,
one
there's
will
so
lay
many.
over the top of the other or
That's
will
correct.
minimize.
So it will be LED, and then you touch it, and then it will mute or unmute.
All right. Well, if somehow we forget, will the clerk also be able to turn those on like they do now?
That's correct. So as part of the project, they will have a separate controls.
Okay. So what else will be different back here? Will our computers be different or?
The computers are brand new, so we're not going to replace that.
All right.
Yeah,
Can I get
speakers.
can we get slip covers on the chairs that the fluffer coming out? Oh, that's separate. We'll talk about that separate. So that's all I have for technical questions. But to me, the big issue is we're not going to be in this room for 90 days or so, which, looking at the calendar, could carry us over into January, end of January.
That is what we're thinking.
So, and while the group that's here right now would probably fit okay in the study session room, it wasn't very long ago, and they'll be back probably to see us. The cannabis people are here, and we have other meetings. So what are we going to do when we have a meeting that we know is not going to fit into the study session room?
That's something we're going to have to talk about more.
It's on the agenda to talk about at our department head meeting tomorrow with the city clerk's office and with staff to.
But I'd like to have those plans, especially if I may be running some of those meetings. I'd like to have those plans worked out ahead of time, so we're not like a day before a meeting or something and oh my God, and well, let's start thinking about where else we could have it. I'd like to have that worked out, and of course the clerk would too, because they have to post and all those kind of things ahead of time. So.
And we did at times have 100 people.
Right. And there are options. I mean, in this building, I think it's pretty limited, the options, but we happen to be in an area of a complex that there are theaters and other perhaps meeting rooms that would be suitable. There would be issues to be worked out with the electronics and the audio and the video, either recording. I mean, I don't know if you'd be able to stream or not, but you'd at least be able to record. But those would be things I think we would want to work out well ahead of time. If the weather's nice, maybe the amphitheater would work. I think we do have meetings on a regular basis, particularly in season, unfortunately, where we do have things like that. And unfortunately, there are things that we don't even know about that could happen and become an issue, even in that 90-day period. So I would urge us to make sure we have those plans in place.
Will do. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll swing right back by. Any other questions? Are we good? Do we have anybody from the audience who would like to comment on this?
Good evening again.
Good evening.
Of course, I welcome this upgrade, which, as the current city manager says, is well overdue. Unless there's a contentious topic being debated, meetings are sparsely attended by the public, which means high-quality archival recording and live broadcast are fundamental to modern political discourse. And I might say perhaps the City Council should consider adopting a policy that says all agendized meetings will be recorded for the public. And many are, but some are not, including our strategic planning meetings in January. The proposal continues the availability of translation services. They've always been available in this council chamber. There's a little panel over there where the connections are hidden. But they're rarely used, and I've listened to public comments from Spanish-speaking residents who've had to employ a friend or a council staff member to provide translations for commission members. But there is no service providing in turn translation of the English language for those attending. The reason cited is always cost. Having a translator at every meeting is very expensive. So I have to ask then, why is that being included in this rework? There are new services emerging. Kudo, for example, is a new service. It's AI-driven, and they provide instantaneous translation from the auditorium direct to attendees' phones using an AI system. I don't know the costs. You'd have to investigate that. But such services will grow rapidly in the next year, and it may be of more value to look at such a service than to pay for translation equipment and translators. And if we continue this system, then it's never going to be used, because you just don't know. If somebody's going to come to a planning commission meeting and say that they want to object to something, we can't phone out for a translator. So we need something better. I also see that links to YouTube streaming are included. I'm glad about that. I've mentioned to several city staff that the current archive solution provided by Granicus is poor, using video standards that make it harder for residents to download video footage. Granicus meeting software is deficient in many areas, including their refusal to allow commissioners access to archives when they're visiting another country. This is completely ridiculous, and we are being led by a company as a vendor than getting our own business done. So I hope the YouTube interface in this proposal will continue to support archiving on that platform, which is user-friendly and more effective than Granicus. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. One more time around, anybody? No? Then do we have a motion?
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Lamb and a second by Mayor Pro Tem Gregory. Please vote.
No, I want to vote. I really do. A little votey one on my.
Mayor, do you?
Right, this one? This one? Third one? There we go. Three's a charm. I don't want to make that go away. I just want that.
The motion carries all ayes.
Thank you. Okay, next we have item D, Riverside County Transportation Commission Agreement for SB 821 Bicycle and Pedestrian Facilities Program funding for Avenida Maravilla Class 3 Bike Routes Project. Good evening.
This is another successful grant application that we've received for bicycle and pedestrian upgrades, this time on Avenida Maravilla. And Armando Baldizone, our city engineer, is going to present this item.
Thank you, City Manager. Good evening, Council members, Mayor Pro Tem. I'm going to be presenting the funding agreement between the City and Riverside County Transportation Commission for the Avenida Maravilla Class 3 bike route that is with funding under the SB 821 Bicycle and Pedestrian Program Facilities Program. To provide some background, in 2023, the City Council accepted the active transportation plan that was funded by the Southern California Association of Governments through the Sustainability Program. This active transportation plan laid out a community-wide network for pedestrian and bike travel, and also identified high-priority projects. One of those projects was Avenida Maravilla Class 3 bike routes. In February 2025, Riverside County Transportation Commission issued or released the fiscal year 25-26 SB 821 Bicycle and Pedestrian Facility Programs with the authorization from Council. Staff submitted in April one application, and in June of 2025, RCTC approved the projects that are going to be funding with this program. Avenida Maravilla Class 3 bike route project spans approximately 2.5 miles from Ramon Road, just north of Vista Chino. Avenida Maravilla is a two-lane collector road with on-street parking and serves as a connection for local neighborhoods, schools, and parks. The project will designate a Class 3 bike route, which means that the road is going to be shared with vehicles and bicycles. The project will also include pavement markings, wayfinding signing, bicycle detection and intersections, and some speed signage. The project estimated cost is a little under $832,000, and that includes the design, construction, and administration. This was the estimated project submitted in our application to Riverside County Transportation. Under the funding agreement, Riverside County Transportation Commission will will contribute a total of 50% of the project estimated cost in the amount of $416,000, and the city will provide a matching 50% contribution for the same amount, for a total amount of $832,000. With this, the term of the agreement gives us 36 months to complete the project, and the agreement also reflects or formalizes the city commitment to fund the project and provide local matching to receive grant reimbursement. We have identified in the fiscal year 26-27 two funding sources. One is the SBA 21 funds in the amount of $416,000. The other one is the Traffic Safety Fund in the same amount. With that, this project aligns with our strategic plan in the Goal B, community investment. And in closing, the staff is recommending the City Council to approve the agreement with Riverside County Transportation Commission for funding under SBA 21 bicycle and pedestrian facilities, the design and construction of the Avenida Maravilla Class 3 bike route, and authorize the city manager to execute the agreement. That concludes my report. Back to you, Mayor.
Thank you so very much. Questions from council?
No good questions.
No, green at all. Am I on? Okay, it still shows red up here, so we really need to get this fixed. Janitor,
We should look into that.
Thank you so much. So I'm curious, in your presentation, you mentioned something about bicycle detection at intersections. What is that?
Bicycle detection at intersections are the cameras that we have at the,
okay.
at the intersections that they will check also with.
Oh, okay, good. I didn't realize that was part of it, but that makes sense if you're going to try to make a bicycle lane that can be shared. I don't know if there's a lot of, well, there is on Vista Chino and Maravilla, right? There's a light there, and also at Ramon. So. Yeah, so that would make sense. So thank you so much for that. I'm especially excited about, I don't know about the Charos, I mean, that's part of the program, but the speed signs, I think, are very helpful. The improved intersections with the ADA access will be great. So I'm very excited about this project. So it's scheduled for 26, 27. So it wouldn't be this year, but it could start next year on July 1st or thereafter. Is there a plan to get it done in that fiscal year?
The plan is to start before the end of the fiscal year, of the next
and the
fiscal
pre-planning
year.
Parts of it, and then
The design part, and then the construction move forward to.
That's excellent. I know we have, and there are many reasons why this happens, but in the consent agenda, we approved some, fortunately, no-cost continuations on one of them was very old, SIP cycle, like from 2018 or something like that. So there are many reasons. I'm not trying to be critical, but I'm hoping as we get these grants, we continue to move them forward as timely as we can. Not because I don't think construction costs will go down, and I think that's part of the problem sometimes if they don't get moved forward. And I know it has a 3-year window to get it done, but I'm hoping that our plan is to get it done earlier in the cycle.
So these projects come with probably the HSIP program has an extended time.
Yes.
To spend the funding.
Yes.
Remember that there is some that they come with contribution from the city. Some were 100%, some were
exactly
10%. The other thing is that you need to have the funding to do it for reimbursement. And also you need to follow, if they are federal funding, that they have a totally different process than the state funding, and these projects are funding locally with Riverside County Transportation Commission, so they have a deadline, and probably the requirements are similar to the state and federal, but they are more projects that we can move faster than the other.
Exactly, and some of those other ones were very complex, and there were changes made, and so additional funding need to be requested, and those kind of things. That's why I said I'm not being critical, I'm just saying it as an example. We do have sometimes where we get grant funding, and many years go by before we actually see physical changes, and that's just the way it goes sometimes. But I was hoping with this one, since it seems more straightforward, that the plan was to try to get it done next fiscal year. So, all right, thank you so much.
welcome.
Thank you. Do we have any members of the public who would like to speak on this?
I have no request to speak forms for this item, but if you're a member of the public and you wish to provide public comment, please raise your hand. I see no hands raised, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Back to council for any follow-ups. And may we have a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Gutierrez and a second by Mayor Pro Tem Gregory. Please vote. And the motion carries, all ayes.
Thank you very much. So I knew you weren't too far away. The next item is E, a construction contract award to Union Pavement Services Incorporated and procurement of K71 bollards for the SB 821 Perez Road cast. Blah, blah, easy for me to say.
Mayor and
Class four,
council, this is an additional bikeway project on Perez Road, and as you can tell, Andrew Lee is going to present this item, so I think I'll just let him take it away.
Thanks so much.
All right, thank you, Mr. City Manager, Honorable Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, City Council members. Tonight, I'll be presenting the recommendation to award a construction contract and to procure K71 bollards for the SB 821 Perez Road Class 4 separated bikeway project. Starting with background, in 2023, City Council accepted the Cathedral City Active Transportation Plan, which was funded by SCAG, and this set the impetus for the city to pursue grant funding for active transportation projects. And so in 2023, the city submitted 2 projects for the SB 821 program, and were awarded funding for both projects. The project in discussion for tonight is the Perez Road Class 4 separated bikeway project, and the total funding is shown here on this slide, $680,000, with 25% coming from the city funds. In 2024, the City Council awarded the design contract to STC Traffic in the amount of $35,000. And in 2025, on June 18th, a community meeting was held at Mr. Zebra's, a local restaurant on Perez Road, and attendees were in support for the project. Going over a project overview, this project is on Perez Road from Cathedral Canyon Drive to Day Palm Drive. It's about half a mile, and the scope of work will include protected bike lanes on both sides of Perez Road with a physical buffer separating vehicular traffic. So proposed improvements shown on this slide, as mentioned, the K71 bollards are the green bollards. You'll see that at the ends of each bollard sections where there are entrances to driveways or side streets, the bollards will have a yellow reflective band on top and a white on the bottom, and the bollards in the middle will just have 2 white reflective sheeting. That's to signal to the drivers that there's bicyclists in the areas and to watch out.
That photograph appears doctored. Did you do that with AI right there? Is that your...
It was doctored.
Yeah, it was doctored.
But it does give us the idea, so thank you.
The bicycle route signage are also included, and the rubberized emulsion aggregate slurry will be used to rehab the pavement. So there's 2 parts to this agenda item. The first part will be the construction contract, which we'll cover right now, and then in a few slides we'll go to part 2. So starting with part 1, the invitation to bid was first published in the Desert Sun on July 20th and again on July 27th. The plans and specifications were advertised in the Cathedral City website and the Planet Plan Room from July 20th until August 12th, and the bid opening was held on August 12th. City received 3 bid proposals, and Union Pavement Services from Yoruba Valley was the lowest responsive and responsible bidder. Just wanted to make a note that All American Asphalt, the second lowest bidder, submitted a bid protest, but after review of the bid protest with the city attorney, the city engineer rejected the bid protest due to lack of merit. Shown on this slide is the total construction estimate, which includes Union Pavement Services bid and a proposed 25% contingency. Now moving on to part 2, the K71 bollards. So city staff conducted an informal bid process to procure the K71 bollards, and this was done to save money on contractor markup fees and also to store some extra bollards on hand for maintenance. And I want to make a note that the bid price from Union Pavement Services includes the price to install the K71 bollards. On July 11th, 3 quotes were received for 330 K71 bollards. Here we have the list of the 3 vendors that submitted proposals, and Zumar from Tacoma, Washington had the lowest quote. So now moving on to fiscal impact. The total construction budget includes the construction cost, which includes the 25% contingency, the price for the K71 bollards, bringing the total construction budget to $379,250.68. Here you go, showing again the breakdown of the grant funding and the city funds. This agenda item aligns with Goal B, aligns with our 5-year strategic plan, Goal B, community investment. And staff recommends the City Council to award a construction contract to Union Pavement Services, approve a 25% contingency for unforeseeable construction costs, authorize the city manager to execute the required contract documents, authorize the city engineer to request bonds and insurances for the project, and authorize the city engineer to execute a purchase order for all necessary documents in the amount of $67,250.68, thereby bringing the total project budget amount to $379,250.68. And with that, that concludes my presentation. I'll hand it back to you, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions from council on this?
I do have a question.
Go 1, 2, 3, 4.
Thank you for your presentation. My question is, the bollards, are they going to be installed in an area that will not minimize the 2 lanes on either side?
Yes, so there's about 7 feet for the bicycle lane itself, and then 4 feet for the buffer space. And so the bollards will be placed within that 4 feet.
Okay, so the 2 lanes traveling in either direction for vehicles will not be impacted?
No, the vehicle lanes will not be impacted by the
thank
bicycle lanes. No.
I just had a question. I was not able to attend the community meeting at Meester and Zebra. We had community support, but there's still curbing along Perez that's not red. So there are cars that are parked this morning. There are cars that are parking in the space. So I'm sure that will be addressed at some point because that curbing will have to be painted red, and the patrons of those businesses somehow are going to have to know that there's ample parking as you turn down H or I or any of those streets. There's lots of parking there. But right now they don't know it. It's just convenient to roll up and park your car and run in.
Yeah, so that was actually a couple of the topics that were covered
Okay.
at the community meeting. So
Yeah, okay.
first, to address the red curbs, I believe the city painted all the curbs red, and when the property owners replaced curbs for maintenance, they didn't paint it.
I see.
But to address that, because the bollards will be in the buffer zones, it will be very hard for a vehicle to park next to
Right.
the curb.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
and then-
thank you.
And to address the parking issue, that was brought up at the community meeting, and we evaluated the available parking for the plaza, and there was sufficient parking.
Yeah, okay, good. Thank you so much, Andrew.
Mayor Pro Tem.
All right, thank you. Thank you for the presentation, for moving this forward. I will note this is only like 2 years, so that's pretty good. You're getting into construction. So you showed us some pictures of the bollards, and of course, Mark talked about the yellow and the white, and they are green bollards. So the ones that are being purchased will be these green bollards, right?
Yes.
So I'm okay with it, council, but when they go up and somebody says, "Oh, who put the ugly green bollards there?" We don't want the council to say, "I don't know. I didn't know anything about green bollards." Yeah, you can say Raymond. No, I think Andrew did them. So remember that Andrew did it, the green bollards. But is that a standard for this type of facility?
Typically, green striping is used for bicycle lanes, and so it's an alternative.
We don't
Sounds
have
good.
any green striping in our city.
All right. Thank you so much.
So, do we have any comments from, we have our mobile home man who's joined us. He could be the only one.
So I don't have any request to speak forms for this item, but if any member of the public would like to comment on this item, please raise your hand. And I see no hands raised, Mayor.
Do we have a motion to approve?
I move approval.
Second.
So we have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Gregory and a second by Councilmember Lamb. Please vote. And the motion carries all ayes.
Thank you. Well, last but not least, this evening is a discussion on future agenda items, and council can come forward if they have something they want to discuss in the future, and I'll start down at this end.
No.
They already said we can't do an unretirement of a city manager, so I can see that.
Well, I don't know. We could vote on it.
It would work.
I
So-
move that approval.
Yes, all in favor. So that is it. We are adjourned for the evening. We don't have any closed session items. We have nothing to discuss for the future, and we'll look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Tomorrow, somewhere. We'll be coming in, I'm sure.
All right, Mark. What's going on tomorrow? Conference tomorrow.
Yeah.
I will say, ooh, but it's at Disney.
Where?
I gotta go to conference.
You're going? Conference?
Yeah.